How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, my name is Noah Cavanaugh and I am a professional soccer player down in Perth, Australia. In today's video, I'm going to be answering the question that I've gotten a lot in my DMs on Instagram and in the comments section, which is, what do I prefer, or what is the better boot between the Vapor Elite and the GT Elite? So both Nike boots, both fantastic performing boots, but I have actually decided to go with one or the other. Stay tuned to find out which one that is that I will be moving forward with, and we'll get right into the video. Okay, so first things first, as you might notice, these are worn-in boots. So now that I've had time to review all the boots that I was interested in, pick the ones that I really wanted, and then actually start to break them in and train in them. I actually played a game earlier today in the African Cup of Nations, playing for Team Nigeria, and I actually wore the Vapor 13 Elite, if that doesn't give away the point of this video anyway. So there you go, you have my answer. I am wearing the Vapor 13. Now, I want to tell you guys why that is and go over sizing, and then actually throw them both on feet, or one on each foot, and show you guys with my wide feet how they actually fit and feel on feet once they're broken in. So hopefully you guys find that interesting. Leave a comment down below again on which ones you would prefer, which ones you reckon would be best for your feet, etc., and we'll go from there. So a question that I get asked a lot is, what is break-in time for boots given that you have wide feet? So I'm somebody with very wide feet, typically in this area, so in the lower part of the area. A lot of people I know have really wide feet up here in the forefoot, but my midfoot is actually super wide as well, so it's often very difficult for me to find boots that I'm very comfortable in, especially right away. So when I try on boots, I'm always expecting there to be hot spots. I'm always expecting to get blisters, and there's really no pair of boots I don't think that I've ever hopped in and been able to get after a training session right away without a little bit of break-in time. Both of these boots, I would say, run between 4 to 6 hours of intense training. So that, I would say, overall that amounts to about 10 hours total of wear time before you slip in them and they feel incredibly comfortable on feet, just like a second skin. They're both made out of that knit material, so you're gonna get a sock-like sensation from both of them. The GTs run technically on a wider last, but I actually found them to be less comfortable over time, which is really strange, than the Vapor 13 Elites. So that is one of the main reasons why I'm going with the Vapor 13s. I love the way they both fit and they both feel. On ball, they're actually very similar. I would say the GT definitely has a little bit more of a curve to it. So when you are passing the ball, when you are shooting, it definitely invites you to make those curling shots, as opposed to Vapor, which, as you can see, has a very central lacing system, is a very technically simple boot by design. It's just such a beautiful and raw sensation that it allows me to be much more dynamic and fluid, I feel, on feet. And again, at the end of the day, all I'm looking for is a pair of tools that will help me perform the best that I possibly can. At the end of the day, if you are concerned about break-in time, I would say these boots are really similar. I had more time breaking in the Phantom GTs simply because of the way that they fit and the way that they fit on my foot. That might be different for you guys if you have thinner feet. The Vapors might be a little easier to break in, but the video that I released right before this one actually explains how I break in shoes, and I was using these in the video. It was actually the first time that I had ever worn these boots in an actual training session, and hopefully that video provided some value. So go check that out if you are curious about 6 different tips that I use in breaking in new boots, especially when I'm trying on a bunch of stuff and I want to make sure that I find the best possible fit. All right, so now let's talk about sizing. So this one is a big one for me, and I've actually gotten a lot of really great comments down in the description of both the Phantom GT review and the month post GT review, as well as the Vapor review and some of my other boot reviews that I've done already on this channel. And it's a very interesting question because Nike's done sort of a really weird thing with the way that these are both sized. If you guys remember the Hypervenom ones through 3, I believe. So the Hypervenom Phantom 1, 2, and 3, those ran pretty true to size. And so I wore a size 9 in US in those. And I would say that I wear a size 9 US in the Phantom GTs, but as a lot of people have complained about, I actually found this to be true as well, is they run about a quarter size long, which is really obnoxious because if I go size 9 US, then they're a tiny bit long, but if I go 8.5, they're a little too short and they crunch my feet too much, as well as obviously being much too thin for my foot. So that was something that I found really kind of annoying, I'm going to be honest. It was a bit annoying with the Phantom GTs having that extra space in the toe. I'm somebody who really likes to have my toes right up on the end of the shoes, and I wear a size 9.5 in the Vapors, and they fit absolutely perfectly. So I am sort of unsure about why Nike releases boots that are all sorts of wonky different sizes, but that's just something to keep in mind. I go my true to size length of my foot is a size 9 US, but I will say that I fit a half a size larger in the Vapor because I have wide feet. So I will say if you have thin feet, go true to size. And then I wear a true to size in the GT, but they run a half or a quarter size too long. So that's something to keep in mind. If you do really like the GT, you like what they're about, you like how they fit and feel on feet, I actually might go, and you have thin feet. If you have thin feet, go half a size down and you'll be totally fine with them. They will be tight on the end, but it'll fit your foot very, very snugly. So that's an idea with sizing. Again, I wear a size 9 in the Phantom GTs and a 9.5 in the Vapor 13 Elites. Okay, so talking about a few of the tech specs of each one of these, I won't go into super specifics, but more just how I experience these boots as a player and as somebody who trains 6 days a week. So I will say that, first of all, let's start with the Phantom GTs. So obviously, with the off-center lacing system, it does give you a really clean striking surface. So there is a very, very nice ping that you get when you hit those driven balls. That's just how I feel with them. They're a bit thicker than the Vapor 13 Elite, so that's something to keep in mind. There's a little bit of padding feel to it, which, to be honest, is actually not bad. I actually enjoyed them quite a lot. Again, the sizing thing really screwed me up, so I wasn't able to enjoy them as much as I wish I was, because I do think the concept of these is really, really cool. That being said, they are sort of just like, when looking at both of these boots and when really considering the way that each one of them is designed, with keeping in mind the sole plate, the aggression of the sole plate, and yes, disclaimer, this is an all ground version, this is a firm ground version. I do have the firm ground version of these, so I am keeping that in mind when sharing my thoughts with you guys. So when looking at these two boots, what I see is you've got debatably the most popular soccer football boot of all time, the Nike Mercurial Vapor line, which has been since 2001 or 2002, I believe, or even earlier than that. And then you've got the Phantom GT, which is sort of like a little brother. And I don't say that to discourage any one of you from buying the Phantom GTs, because again, I have friends who love these boots, swear by them, think they are the absolute bee's knees as far as performance, lateral stability, aggression of the sole plate, etc. But in my personal opinion, I think that the Vapor is just the objectively better performing shoe, and I think that that is one of the reasons why I really enjoy having these on my feet. So without further ado, let's hop into the on-feet portion of the video, where I really get up close and personal and show you guys on my feet where they fit snugly, where they might have a little bit of loose space, and then you guys can make a decision based on the information in this video. Hopefully this all is helpful to you guys and you understand why I decided to switch to the Vapor 13 Elite. Alright guys, so now we're going to hop into the on-feet portion of the video. I will put the GT on my left foot and the Vapor 13 Elite on my right foot. So I'll show you. So again, you can see they are definitely worn in. They've got some little stains and such on them already. So I will show you guys how a broken in pair of those Phantom GTs fits on feet. So they're pretty, both boots are pretty easy to hop into. Get this on. There we go. So slide right in. And again, I'm feeling that width. And then there's a good like half to, I'd say about 3/4 of the width of my thumb. And I'll get these tied tight. So again, the first things I notice is these are comfortable boots. You have the Flyknit material. There's really no space where the material, sometimes you get these little bubbling effects. Like if I really force my finger in there, I can get in there. But when the shoes are tied tightly, there's no places where there's any loose material or anything, which is actually really great. So I feel comfortable if I really had to jump in these, I could definitely wear them and it wouldn't be a problem. So let's hop into the other ones on my right side. Okay, so we'll get right into these. And there you go. So those are the Vapors on feet. And just as an aside, honestly, I think this color looks so absolutely ridiculous. It's amazing. I think these boots are fabulous looking. I think they're probably in my top 5 Vapor colorways of all time. I just love the black and white. Okay, so anyway, that is what they look like on feet. And I will say, so again, there's a little bit of space. Hopefully you can see that. Tiny, tiny bit of space there. Whereas that right there is the end. I'll go like this. That's the end of my toe. So these fit absolutely perfectly. They are right up at the end. My feet feel solid in them. And oddly enough, even though these are on a wider last, I actually have less room in the midfoot than I do in the Vapors, which is such a weird thing because Vapors are often considered to be much thinner boots. So again, that is what they look like. I'll kind of flex my feet a little bit. So again, tiny, tiny little bit of space. I'm not tying the laces as I would in a game, so there's going to be a little bit of space there, but really these are both super snug boots, to be fair. And I think they are both really good options. So as far as lockdown goes, I think that the Vapors just have a more locked in sensation. They are meant to be a speed boot or kind of like a track spike, if you will, whereas the Phantom GTs are much more fluid. They allow my feet to kind of move around in. That could be because there's some space in this toe box area that's unnecessary. Again, this may fit your feet really well, but I really don't deal really well with the space in this toe box. I think for me personally, it is not something that I can deal with during a game, whereas here, I've got absolutely zero space anywhere. Like my foot runs perfectly across here. And as you can see, the little pokey outy part on my big toe even comes out of the shoe. Like it wraps my foot really, really well. So again, that's part of the reason why I'm switching to the Vapor 13 Elite. I actually wore them when I first got to Australia, and I loved these boots. I'm not really sure why I switched to the Phantom GTs. I think part of it was because I thought, hey, maybe a really wide-footed boot that had some lateral stability would be good. Maybe I'll try switching. But I think for future stuff, I will just be sticking with the Vapor 13. So that's the sole plate of the GT. That's the firm ground variation. And then this is the all ground variation of the Vapor 13 Elite. And I've actually got my Mercurial Vapor Rosas that you probably saw. So that is what the sole plate in the firm ground variation looks like. So it's much more aggressive overall than the GT. The GT definitely has some chevron studs, but it also has these conical studs that are a little like, it's almost like they're cut in half and then they're offset. So it's like if you took a circle and then you offset it, that's what that stud looks like. So it's a very strange look, but again, that's what the firm ground version of the Vapor 13 Elite looks like. By the way, maybe the best colorway I've ever seen in my life, in real life. You've got to get your hands on a pair of these. They are just beautiful, if nothing else, to frame them. All right, guys, so that is it for my comparison between the Nike Phantom GT Elite and the Nike Vapor 13 Elite. Excuse me, getting so confused with all these elites and names. So again, I decided to go with the Vapor 13 Elite. I think it fits my foot better, and I think overall I like the shape of the boot, and I like the way it helps me to achieve my soccer goals. So at the end of the day, these are both tools. They're expensive tools, but they are just tools. So make sure that regardless of the hype, regardless of all the marketing, regardless of all that other stuff, you go with a boot that fits your foot. It doesn't matter if it's the popular one, if it's the not popular one. If you decide to say, you watch this video and you say, hey, Noah said the Vapor 13 Elite is better, but screw it, I'm going with the GT because it fits my foot, that would make me so happy because you're making the decision for yourself. I don't want you to make the decision based on what I say. If you do have wide feet and you think you can fit in the Vapors, I definitely did, and I have atrociously wide feet. But at the end of the day, it is your call, it is your choice. Just do what's absolutely best for you. So without further ado, that is it for the review, guys. Hope you enjoyed that comparison video. Let me know if you have any other questions on anything that relates to these two boots. If you think there's another point that you'd like me to compare them, I'm happy to answer those comments and get after it. So without further ado, guys, be awesome, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.